Hello, race fans, and welcome once again to another high-octane episode of Trackside, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Document Technologies provides a comprehensive range of managed solutions, including multifunction devices, managed print services, and document management software. They're also known for their fast service, boasting an average response time of 2 hours or less, and offer high-quality product multifunction devices alongside document management and cloud hosting software. Stay tuned, racing enthusiasts, because the action starts right now, right here on Trackside.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. I'm Terry Turner. Right there is Randy Dye. Randy Dye, happy Father's Day. What a great opportunity for the ladies to buy us something, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't thought about it like that, but I suppose so. Yeah.
Well, and, you know, that's part of what this show does. It stimulates thought, Randy.
Yeah, it does something. That's for sure. Yeah.
No doubt about that. Well, and seriously, ladies and gentlemen, happy Father's Day. A great weekend we're rolling into, and lots of good stuff going on for sure. So I say again, it is great to be a father, isn't it? I tell my son, I'm sure you've said these same words to Daniel, no greater privilege, no greater accomplishment than being a dad.
Oh, I think, I'm fortunate to have three children. The oldest one, Nikki, then Daniel, then Abby, and they're all different, and yet they all are. They're all a blessing, and so I had, and I'll share at some point later if you want when we talk about the events on Sunday afternoon before the race at Michigan. But Daniel said this to me. He said, "Dad, for the last several years, when we go to racetracks and stuff, he said, you always say that you're not Randy Dye, you're Daniel Dye's dad." And I said, "Yep, that's true, and that's a good thing." He said, "Well, I just want you to know that I'm here in Michigan this week to be Randy Dye's son." And that was a pretty big deal. Yeah. Yeah, well, and we'll talk more about why that was said that way. But that's he said that to me. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not surprised by that. Dan, that's just the kind of a guy Daniel Dye is. There's no doubt about it. Again, I haven't known him his whole life, but a lot of it since he was about 5. So, we'll definitely want to hear more about that. Randy, in our age group, sometimes we have to report some of the, not the most fun news. We lose people. Both of us love music and sports. We lost Brian Wilson this week, and that's a big one. What a great talent he was for the Beach Boys, and wrote most of the stuff, produced, etc. So, and then another producer, Travis Carter, was a NASCAR team owner of Travis Carter Enterprises, and a championship-winning crew chief. He died on June 10th of this year in hospice for a short stay. He was 75. Carter came up in the 1970s as a NASCAR being injected with a newer, younger talent, and at 23, Randy, he became the crew chief for NASCAR's Hall of Famer Benny Parsons. So I'm sure you're a historian and know quite a bit about that, and went on to do some greater things, won the Daytona 500 as well. So, a guy that'll be missed.
Yeah, I think you're right. We talk about this a lot because of our age and the generations, and, Travis Carter and Benny Parsons, that was a great combination. And I didn't know Travis. Obviously I knew who he was, but I didn't know him like I knew Benny, and but they were a wonderful combination. And it's hard, man. It's hard when those people that we've known for so many years or been around the sport or known their name, and they go on to the next life. And I thinking about Brian Wilson, some of the great music that he did. Holy smokes! But they're a blessing, and when they're here, and their memories are a blessing for sure.
No doubt about that. Some more that I've got right here. I got into the circuit in 1990 with his own car and team, Driver Carter Enterprises. As a team owner, his car has locked down 6 pole positions. As a crew chief, he had 30 wins in his career. So a big impact that he made on the sport. At 75, is not that old a guy, I must say, to lose him. And then to expand on that, not equipped with much detail on it, but Spire Motorsports will honor Tony Witt, who passed away tragically, it says, on Friday. That's June 6th. He was a suspension mechanic for the team's NASCAR Cup Series, and lost him as well. So, wow, it happens. Again, don't know exactly what happened right there, but I'm sure the team is feeling the pain when you lose. As you well know, Randy, these guys are such a tight-knit group, and they are a team. When you lose a team member, it's a big deal. Want to expand another thing real quickly before we delve into the local is we've talked a little bit as we've gone over the past year or so with Ron Devine and his tax evasion case, et cetera. He has pleaded guilty, and I guess a couple of $1 million in payroll taxes and funds that he owed for taxes went to other businesses. And he was released on bond. Charge carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $250 fine. Sentencing has been put off to a later date, but he certainly could face some prison time right there. I mean, you just not sure why he made those decisions. Tough decision. Taxes pile up and payroll taxes pile up. You're being a big employer, know how those kind of things happen. But what is it, the old saying? You got to die and you got to pay taxes. Is that the deal? Sounds like the deal is still the deal.
I think it's the two sure things in life: death and taxes. Yeah, for sure. I don't know enough about that situation to comment. It's unfortunate for sure, but usually it's just getting yourself in a position where you don't have, and you try to keep pushing back, and you get in a bad spot, don't know how to get out, make other mistakes, and compound it. But I certainly don't know enough about the specifics of that situation. Just hope it all gets figured out. That's all.
Yeah, and figured out somehow without jail time. That would be the upside, no doubt about it. So thoughts and prayers for him and for the families of the two other losses that we've just mentioned. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we got lots to cover. Let's get right into the local section of the Trackside program.
One Daytona, located across from the world's center of racing, is proud to present our local segment, where we talk with a local star in your part of the country following a big win, event preview, and much more. One Daytona in Daytona Beach is a vibrant destination offering an array of shopping, dining, and entertainment options, including unique events, live music suitable for families and individuals alike.
Welcome back, Volusia Speedway Park. Tomorrow night action resumes with the Firecracker Classic. You'll see 3/4 modified, 602 late models, 604 late models, dirt car UMP modifieds, and factory stocks. Gates open at 4 p.m., hot laps at 6. Racing to follow on the world's fastest half mile. At New Smyrna Speedway last Saturday night, J&C Great All Modifieds winner Alan Burns, sportsman Matthew Green, Bomber B Zach Curtis, and ground pounders Art Kuzman. New Smyrna off this week to celebrate Father's Day, back next week as Milling Performance presents the Super Late Model Sunbelt Twin 50s. You'll witness the Dave Rogers Super Late Models, Ashley Holmes Jack's Trucks, Black Seal Coating Bomber A's, and 602 Modifieds. Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola in action tonight with the Road to Snowflake number 2 with Alan Turner Pro Late Models, Pro Trucks, Pure Stocks, and Crown Stocks. Gates open at 5, racing starts at 8. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in Michigan last week with the winner Stuart Friesman. The Cup Series in Michigan, Denny Hamlin gets the win. This week in NASCAR, the Truck Series is in Pocono. That race starts at 5 o'clock tonight on Fox Sports 1. Xfinity goes to Mexico City. That race tomorrow, Saturday at 4:30 on CW. And the Cup Series, guys, at 3 p.m. on Sunday. That's on Amazon Prime. Again, keep in mind that is a subscription service. And we'll keep an eye on last week's winner, Denny Hamlin, as he is on baby watch this week. He's willing to miss Mexico City. We'll keep you posted. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's say this. My excitement level is high. You're not supposed to, and we've talked a lot about my wife and I jumping up and down on the couch, but you're not supposed to jump up and down on the furniture in the studio. But I'm close to doing that. So let's just roll. Let's put this as part of the truck segment of the Trackside program and roll right into it.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR are next up on the agenda, presented by Aaron Delgado and Associates. With over 110 combined years of experience in criminal defense and personal injury, Aaron Delgado and Associates takes pride in vigorously representing clients in various challenging legal situations within the community. Now, let's go trucking.
All right, Randy, well, you're going to have a lot to say about this, but I have my press release right in front of me, so I'm going to kind of go through it and then flip it right on over to you. Ram will join the field for the 2026 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, ending a 13-year break, and today unveiled, this was done at Michigan, a new Ram 1500 concept race truck. I've seen the pictures, Randy. It's incredible. That previews the design for next year, and returning to the racetrack marks a major milestone as part of the Pedal to the Metal drive for Ram that covers 25 product announcements over the next 18 months. This was formally announced, Randy, and I'm going to let you have this in just a second. Formally and officially are the words in my press release by Tim Kuniskis. I hope I'm saying that right. He is the CEO of Ram Brand, and they did this during a live NASCAR event last week at Michigan. So they also rolled out a Ram 5500 hauling a custom trailer built specifically for Smoky Donuts, courtesy of Ram's NASCAR concept truck. So a pretty big deal rolling it out last week, but it just seems pretty official. Just the day before Steve O'Donnell was talking, we hope we get this done, but then Sunday, boom, we got it. So, okay, go for it, Randy. Tell us all about it, will you?
Oh, my. Yeah, I mean, it's, you've obviously, we've talked about it for months, the rumors and so on and so forth about how it was coming back. And, first off, let me try to take it in the order you talked about it. Steve O'Donnell's comments were that we did have a agreement in philosophy and in principle, but it takes the right people signing off on it, and they did. They got that done the day before, and that was great. But in terms of everybody agreeing to the terms, that was done. The vehicle that you talked about, I'm talking about the truck itself that was the concept race truck. That was something that we commissioned some time ago, and Daniel Dye Racing actually was the supplier of that truck for the Ram brand. Collaborated and it was a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, but it really turned out really nice. Very proud of our involvement in that. And and then, of course, for me, and you know this probably as well as anybody, Terry, since the end of the 2012 season, I have not stopped trying to get Dodge and Ram and all of Stellantis back into the sport. And it's probably for different reasons than people think. I have been involved in racing most of my life,
right,
in one way or another, whether it's from a fan or, other things. So that wasn't going to change. That didn't change because of Ram. But what it did do is my philosophy is that it's good for our business. And being a Dodge and Chrysler and Jeep and Ram and other franchise dealer, I believe it's good for our business. And what was, to me, if there was ever any doubt about that, it was the way the fans reacted. You know, we talk all the time about stakeholders and, you know, sponsors and the OEMs and all that, and they're all important. But for me, I've said for the last almost 13 years, in all of my debates and all of my discussions and all of the pushing and all of the things that we needed to try to do to get this thing accomplished, is that the fans are our customers, and those are the ones that matter. And when and the reaction that they had was just remarkable. I mean, it was when I heard that roar from the fans in Michigan on Sunday afternoon, and there I'm standing, I knew we did the right thing. And there's a lot more things to do, but that affirmed every single thing I believed. And again, from a personal standpoint, I mean, I'm racing whether the Ram brand or the Dodge brand was back in the sport at all. But boy, what it has done to energize the sport, to energize the brand, to energize our people, it's just it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I think it's as it should be. The fans, their response is, that's why you do this. That's why when you talk about another new sponsor that comes to the sport, you know, another extension, all those things that you talk about when we do this program weekly. The reason, and I've said this before, the reason that people do this is because of that amazing fan base, the demographic that NASCAR has. That's why these sponsors come. That's why they stay. That's why they renew, and it's proof positive. Proof positive. That
a couple of things there. Go ahead, Randy.
No, when I heard that roar, I mean, honestly, it was an emotional moment for me.
I bet. Well, two things. I'm sure that you're very proud of me that I never bothered you about it, never bugged you about it. And
yeah, you
and
never.
Two, you guys and Daniel Dye Racing. I mean, you guys basically built this truck, right?
Yeah, it was a great collaboration, and you know, it went like at light speed. You know, there was a lot of. I will tell you, there was a lot of preliminary discussion, for sure, and you know, and what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden it was go. And like, oh my gosh. And oh, by the way, not only go, but we needed in a couple of weeks. And we're like, you got to be kidding, right? Nope, not kidding. When you see
well, you did a great job of kind of keeping it under wraps and keeping quiet about it. I mean, Steve O'Donnell sincerely didn't seem like he knew for sure what was going to happen on Sunday, so that was quite interesting. And before I forget, that's a reminder in honor of all of this, and obviously my excitement, and I have pestered the fire out of you for a long time about this, but you need to find me a 1997 Dodge Ram with a Cummins diesel in it. Just throwing it out.
Okay. Thanks for that, Terry. Appreciate that. Yeah, you got it.
I mean, they're plentiful. You can find one easily. Yeah. I need all the records with it too, Randy. So
yeah, okay, I got it. No problem. Let me see what I can do about that. Yeah.
Well, and so how did Daniel Dye feel about all this, and how does this tie to his comment that he made?
Yeah, I did. I mean, he, you know, when he was younger, he didn't have any idea what I was doing, and I didn't go home and talk about it because it didn't really it wouldn't have mattered that much. But over the years, he's seen how hard and long and the grind that this has been for me, and how many times, if we did a Netflix documentary, it would be an amazing event because of all the effort that we made and all the times we were close and the different ways we were going to announce and who was going to be a part of it and all that stuff for the last almost 13 years but certainly the last 12 and a half has been, but I'll tell you something. I give a tremendous amount of credit to Tim Kuniskis, who is the Ram CEO, and he has a guy that works with him that he has more energy and gets more work done than any 6 people collectively. And his name is Nate Bulow, and I am just proud to be able to work with those guys. Another guy in that organization named Tom Sackerman that was I can't tell you how many times he and I have an agreement. We've got just a little celebratory thing that we're going to do together here in February in Daytona. But the number of relationships and I don't blame Steve O'Donnell for having some doubt in his mind right up till the last minute, because he knows how many times we've been close and only to be what the heck. And so I would just say to you that, and the other part of this is all the rumors. Oh, my gosh, Terry. One of the things I've learned about, I've known it for years about the drama in our sport, but oh, my gosh, having to deal with all of that from my perspective over the last, particularly the last, say, 8 months.
Even the last year or so, if you remember, I brought it up because press releases come through, with people pretending to know what was going to happen. So I got to ask you, the 2 guys you mentioned at the Ram brand, are both of those guys NASCAR fans, race fans? Oh,
yeah, for sure. And everybody that I've mentioned so far was in Michigan at the event, at the announcement event, including the new CEO of Stellantis. He'll take that position on June 23rd, Mr. Antonio Pelosa. Tim and myself all rode. If you look at some of the stuff online, the mechanical bull that looks like a ram. Kuniskis, I tell you, the operator gave him a pass, and he rode it for 15 seconds. Antonio rode it for 11, and I rode it for 9. So, yeah. Imagine the factory guys looking better than the dealer. How about it? but it all worked out. Yeah.
Are you sore after that?
Well, the trouble is the guy says, this is going to be slippery. And, of course, I had on kind of a pair of golf pants. And if I'd have known that's what I was going to do, I'd have wore shorts or a pair of jeans, because golf pants along with that thing wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, put masking tape on the back end of them. That's no doubt.
Yeah.
What about the UFC champion Anderson Silva? He took to the track and was shooting Hemi branded T-shirts into the crowd. I'm sure that went over pretty well too.
They had a line out in front of our display in the fan zone for a couple of those guys to sign autographs. It was incredible how many people were there. I think that's one of the things. We know that each of the OEMs have very loyal fans, but I don't know that there's more loyal and rabid fans out there than Ram and Dodge fans. And in fact, most people still say Dodge Ram, right, when they refer to the truck.
Oh,
so
definitely.
That's very, very cool. It was exciting to see that there. And I will tell you, the one thing you can be assured that will happen in this, Ram doesn't do things inside of a normal box or a normal line. They go after it, and I can tell you they're very excited, very thankful to the fans' response to their announcement. They're fired up. They at the same time announced the return of the Hemi and back to production vehicles, which we're fired up about that. So it was a really great weekend. And a lot of emotion. Certainly an awful lot of emotion. And there'll be a lot of cool announcements to come over the next several months leading up to Daytona here in February.
Well, that's just a couple more quick things. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, I'll say it in the way I speak, and I'm going to say it, there ain't no electric Hemis. And
that's a fact. Yes, that's right.
Just saying. And you as a dealer, and we've talked about this many times, especially for me, as I get older, in my 70s, we do get more emotional. But me as a fan of the Dodge Ram truck, I've had many, most of which I've gotten from you. But you as a dealer standing there, hearing the crowd and the announcement, even though you knew it was coming, hearing it, I mean, that had to get you deep, right?
Oh, it did. I mean, as I said, I mean, I think for me, all the fun stuff that we planned and all the things that we did and all that, I don't think there was anything more exciting to me personally than to hear the response. That was incredible. It was absolutely incredible, and just confirmation of what we hoped and what we thought would occur. But I would say I would be less than honest if I didn't say the expectation, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I got one more question before we go to break. You knew this was coming. Surely you're prepared. So when are we going to get Dodge back in the Cup Series?
All I can say today, and I'm gonna say that I probably know more than I can say, but I can say this, okay? I can say that Tim Kuniskis, Antonio Filosa, the CEO, and others talked about the intent to go back to Cup.
Yeah. And do we know, and you probably can't say, but do we know, will it be a Charger? Do we know what car it will be when we go back to Cup or no?
Do we know? So let me try to answer all those questions, but I'll at least answer this one. Do we know, I think you said, do we know what car it will be when we go back to Cup? Was that one of the questions?
Yes, sir.
And the answer is yes.
Okay, that's all right. So you answered part of it. You can't say if it's going to be a Charger or what it's going to be at this point, right?
It's not really mine to say. I as you know, over all those years, I've answered to you what I could answer, and I let the others do what they. But yes, I do know the answer.
Well, you have been very well behaved. There's no doubt about that. And I will say before we go to break, whatever it is that comes back to Cup, it ain't electric. And we'll be right back. We have to go catch our breath, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Trackside. We're going to get right to Xfinity and a little talk about Daniel Dye as soon as we get back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Trackside.
Introducing the all-new tractor and outdoor power equipment section at DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors. Now you can gear up for your outdoor projects with premium brands like Bobcat, Massey Ferguson, Shindaiwa, Echo, and more. Need a powerful lawnmower for that perfectly manicured lawn? They've got it. How about a rugged tractor to tackle those big projects? DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has you covered. And let's not forget the Lawn and Garden Center with everything from weed whackers to chainsaws. Commercial or residential, DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has the goods to keep you moving. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors today at their new location and explore the thrilling world of outdoor power equipment. DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors, where the thrill of the ride meets the power of the great outdoors. Your journey begins here.
Welcome back to Trackside as we now take a look under the hood in the NASCAR Xfinity Series presented by Daytona's Garage. Daytona's Garage offers more than just standard dealership customization. They provide a comprehensive range of services for personalizing and enhancing cars, Jeeps, and trucks of any make and model, focusing on both aesthetics and performance with affordability. Reliable service. Now, back to Terry and Randy.
Randy, after months of preparation, really, the haulers got loaded up last Sunday and hit the road, headed to Mexico City in preparation for this weekend's races with the Cup and Xfinity Series. Let's hit on Daniel Dye and his preparation and thoughts and rolling into a foreign country and all the circumstances around it. Tell me more about it.
Well, I think, Daniel's an interesting person when it comes to moving around and being in different destinations and locations. Ever since he was little, and you'll remember, he's raced around the country, in different communities, everywhere from, I guess, as far northeast as Pocono, and then, Texas, Arizona, all over Ohio, all the Carolinas, Georgia. So, and he met a whole bunch of different people, and so he really isn't bothered by any of the different destinations. He actually likes it. As far as the race preparation goes, he's been spending a lot of time in the simulator trying to make sure that they understand the course and all of that. There will be longer practice sessions here in Mexico City than normal for NASCAR. The weather is definitely going to be suspect. They're talking about rain. But he's been. There's also a difference in elevation, so they've been working on conditioning, trying to understand the elements and what it's going to do to the breathing and the temperature, and so there's been a lot of attention focused on this because of it's a one-off, and then the rest of the organization with all the logistical challenges that they've had. And by the way, this will be my first national race event that Daniel has competed in that I will not be there in person. And it's just too many days, too much restriction for safety reasons, which I understand completely, to move around. So I'll be watching it on TV like everybody else on Saturday, probably losing my mind, but that'll be the case.
Yeah, it's your turn to tear up some furniture in your own living room for a change, no doubt about it. It's interesting, Randy. This has not been done. This is the first international points race since 1952. So it has been a while. And, yes, like I said, months and months of preparation to get ready to go for the Viva Mexico 250 and et cetera, both races. So just an amazing event. Two questions. The simulators are pretty right on as far as the track, and what is the track like? And do you know anything about ticket sales?
I heard that the ticket sales were pretty good. I definitely heard that. As far as the simulators go, it's a little tough to figure out the grip because they don't have that, and certainly they don't simulate rain. But they at least get you familiar with the course and where the turns are, and in general what to expect. And so I would say, if I was to put it in, how would we like to? I mean, we'd like to finish. We'd like to win, but probably if we're able to finish in the top 15, we would call that a, okay day and something we take. So we got to make up some ground. We'd certainly love to get stage points. So I think that's going to be probably a part of the strategy that the team, the crew chief, and all are going to be working on. But hey, we've talked about this a million times. The one thing about a race is you can't really script it. You got to be able to adapt. That's the real deal when it comes to racing.
Exactly. Well, it ought to be quite an event, and we'll see what happens. As I say, you get to witness it from your living room this time, but I'm sure he's going to do well. Do we know, and I should have looked this up, are there any Cup drivers driving in the Xfinity race?
Several.
There is. Okay.
Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez. Oh my gosh, I think there's a half a dozen, honestly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. Ty Gibbs. Well, yeah.
Ty Gibbs is going to be in the field. Okay. But we'll see how it goes. Well, speaking of courses, Randy, in the Xfinity Series and Cup Series, and we talk about, and you just mentioned it earlier, we're always talking about new sponsors, et cetera. This is kind of a special one for me because Arby's was started in Tulsa, Oklahoma, my hometown. That guy got Arby's, of course, all over the place. He got them in St. Thomas, et cetera. But they are the newest founding partner of the Chicago Street Race on July 5th and 6th. I mean, they're already heavily involved with Rick Ware Racing and, of course, driver Cody Ware. But now, founding partner, along with two other big sponsors there for the entire race. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is another one, and Xfinity's Exumo brand is the third founding partner. So a big investment, a big deal, a big race. That race is growing July 5th and 6th in Chicago on the road course.
Yeah, it's another place that, we haven't raced. A lot of these road courses this year, Daniel will not have raced at. He didn't. I mean, he raced it obviously at Coda before. We've raced at Watkins Glen before, but certainly not Mexico City, not Chicago, not Sonoma. So there's it'll be interesting for sure. Hey, and I want to jump back, if you don't mind, Terry. I want to tell you something about, and I left this out, and I think it's important. When we talked about the Ram, re-entry into the sport, when you think about the brands that we have, the Ram brand, the Dodge brand, and the performance that goes with it, the level of passion that people have for these brands, it's really tough. I equate this, and I've used this example. There's a lot of good things going on in the Ram brands, for sure, and there's a lot of good things going on in the Dodge brand, for sure. But think about New York City. If you said, "Man, New York City's fantastic. It's got the Statue of Liberty. It's got the Empire State Building. It's got Broadway. It's got just tremendous sports. It's just a great airports. Museums, zoo, Central Park, all that stuff. So, we're going to take the New York Yankees out. We don't really need them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That's an interesting layout there, yes.
So, therefore, that has been my effort right there. Now you get it, right? You get it.
Well, I had no doubt of it, and you certainly hit it right on the head. No doubt about that. It's such a proud, and it's history being made right in front of us. Question though, will you be able to possibly display that particular car at the dealership at all?
Working on that as we speak. I have a projected 10-day window, and I'm hoping so. I'm hoping the answer is yes.
Holy cow. That would be awesome. No doubt about that. Well, with that, yes, and we're going to keep you posted because lots more news is going to be coming out about this. And I'd love to possibly. I mean, I know how busy Daniel is, but I'd love to get him back on the show just to get his overall perspective on this as well. I'm sure he'll have some very interesting things to say. So work on that for us. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I almost got the producer to put the sound of a baby crying as we go into the cup section of Trackside, but I did not. But here we go anyway.
UniFirst presents Conversation about the NASCAR Cup Series, the pinnacle. In auto racing, just like Cup, UniFirst is also the leader of the pack as the uniform and facility service experts. Let's go back to our hosts, Randy and Terry.
Yeah, Randy, I was trying to get our on-the-ground reporter in L.A. to give me the sound of a baby crying, but I couldn't reach him there. But the reason I bring that up is because Denny Hamlin continues to be on baby watch. He says I'm sure he's there by now, but if his fiance has the baby, don't know what it's gonna do there. Ryan Truex kind of was in the wings at Nashville and Michigan, but I think you and I can relate, and we are going into the Father's Day weekend. You'd hate to miss the birth of your of a child, for sure, even for a race.
Oh, I think he's I mean, I think it's a worthy effort to try to be it. You got to be there. I have been there, as with all my kids, and I'm glad. I'm grateful. So I understand this for sure. He could have done a little better planning, but that's
yes, I guess. Pardon me, sweetheart. Let me look at my race schedule and I'll get back to you. Okay. And that's all we're going to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say this, Randy. Amazon, and I got to kind of go through this because this is an interesting thing. As you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned in the local when telling you about each upcoming race that Amazon Prime is a subscription service, and not everybody is subscribed to it as yet. I think that's growing, but let's just look at this. On Amazon Prime, the average video of viewership is 2.27 million. So if we look at the first year that Prime Video was with Thursday Night Football and the NFL, it started out a little bit slow. So for an example, Charlotte, Nashville, and Michigan averaged about 21% down from last year's 3 equivalent races. So they were at 2.27 million, and then previous year when they were on Fox and Fox Sports 1, 2.88 million. And this is a Nielsen big data metric that we've got here. But Randy, the bottom line is if you take the NFL, which is also a very popular sport, and it has definitely grown as people got used to the broadcast being on Amazon Prime, and there's lots of benefits to being on Amazon Prime. I've objected in the past because of political thoughts, but that's changing for the better, I believe. But as people discover and figure it out, I think it will grow back just like it has in the NFL. Your thoughts?
Well, I think what you've got going on with Amazon and Amazon Prime, all of that, they're playing the long game. You pointed out the example of how it started with the NFL and how we all revolted and fussed and carried on and didn't like it, some didn't even watch it, So I would say that's kind of the way it started. So I understand. I mean, I've said it. I don't like the fact that you accept the idea that the ratings are lower, the lower number of people going in, because that just doesn't feel right to me. But the long game, and I think it would be hard to argue with the production. They are doing a really nice job.
They are. Yes.
It's hard to fuss with the product. So as the subscription piece builds and more come along, certainly, and they probably will, when you hear people like you and I, the other 7 people that listen to us, all your family and mine, it'll get out there because it is a good product. There's no doubt about that. My big fuss about all of this is we've got to be able to be consistent where you can find the race, what time it's going to be, and so that it's easier on the fans. That's my only point. Whatever it is, if these guys are good, and they've done a remarkable job. But let's be fair, they've only got a few races to do. You've got the other networks have got a much more robust and lengthy schedule, and they got to focus on the entirety. So, put it all on par.
Well, and even some of the staff at Fox, and we don't have to get into all their names, but have mentioned that it seems that the broadcast itself, and you got a pretty good a team there at Amazon Prime that's doing the broadcast, and pretty recognizable folks right there. But it's been said that they are doing a better job as far as the coverage of the race than Fox does.
I think, so they have to. You're going to come out of the. If you're going to compete, you can't just do as good or average. You got to win. So what ends up happening, as you know, in this country and just about everything good that happens, the competition raises the level of performance, and so I suspect that Fox will raise their game, and anybody that does this is gonna. You got to get up to us. You got to raise it better. It can't be just it's over here because we're us. No, it's got to be you're going to watch us because we're better at it, and so I think that'll translate to a better experience for the fans, no matter where you watch it.
Well, and that's the upside of it right there. A better broadcast, no matter where you watch it, for the fans. Better coverage, not just focus on the top 5, et cetera. Like CW, look at how they spread out, and you can see where everybody's at and what they're doing, et cetera. So, good stuff. On the upside as well, let's look at Pocono next week for Cup and Xfinity. As you know, the trucks are there this week. But, Randy, at Pocono, there's 3,300 camping sites on the property. They are sold out. There are limited seats remaining for the Cup race in the 100, 200, and 300 sections, and you're familiar where those are at Pocono. So looking like that is going to be sold out race for next Sunday at Pocono. So, we look at this coverage and you look at fans going to the racetrack. You don't talk about it a lot of times, or we don't, how many folks are actually at the track. So you put that together, and NASCAR is still pretty popular.
Well, I think that's what and if you know Pocono, it's a wonderful setting. It's in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's beautiful. Weather can be suspect sometimes, but I've gone to that race for years. When I was a kid in high school, I've gone to that race, and camping is what you do there. It's the coolest thing to do, and it's a great racetrack, very different all the way around it. And I'm glad that they're almost in a sold out condition, and I hope that happens. That what a great thing that would be able to be said.
No doubt. I never realized 3,300 camping sites they've got right there. I mean, that's like building a city inside the racetrack right there.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yes,
In
sir.
closing, how about this one? The Daytona International Speedway announced on the 11th, that's yesterday, that the tickets are now on sale for NASCAR's 2026 season opener, the Daytona 500. That'll be the 68th running of the Great American Race, and that takes place on Sunday, February 15th. By the way, to purchase tickets for the 500 and to get more details and get your tickets for the Coke Zero 400 that's coming up, you just go to DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. That's DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. And I would tell you, and I think, Randy, you would agree with me, If you want to go to the 500 next year, you need to jump on it because it's been selling out early every year. And the Coke Zero 400 is a fantastic weekend of racing at the Speedway. So get hooked up with that, ladies and gentlemen, and get hooked up with your family this weekend. It is Father's Day. Celebrate the fathers and the great things that they do out there. And hey, we'll see you right here next week on Trackside.
See you at the racetrack, everybody.
And with the checkered flag waving, we're wrapping up this week's edition of Trackside. Fear not, race fans, because we'll be back next week, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Tune in for a fresh new episode packed with engaging interviews, captivating conversations, and all the exhilarating moments you've come to expect. Until then, keep the racing spirit alive, and we'll see you next time on Trackside.